In this video, I want to show you a quick pre-surf warm-up. Now the reality is we probably should be warming up before we surf, but one, I guess we don't want to feel like a bit of a dickhead doing it on the beach, and the other is there's this kind of old school thought that a paddle out is a warm-up, but if we especially look towards high performance surfing and what most of us are trying to do in the water, we probably should be warmed up for it. Now, and especially I guess if you're also well above the legal drinking age as I am. Now, I do a lot of my warm-up at home, but I want to show you something you can quickly do on the beach. So this would essentially be things we would do in the phase 2 of the Not Really Yoga system, knowing that we've kind of earned the range to get here. So anyway, I'll try and keep this short so you can have a look at it and get it done. It's good to move through the back first. So you've probably seen this position quite a lot, cat and cow in yoga, whatever. But what we want to do is not just move our lower back, we want to make sure our rib cage is moving. So I like to actually pull the hands towards the knees a little bit in order to get that rib cage to move, and you'll find you get quite a lot of activation through your lats as well. We also don't need to look forward, extend through the head and extend through the neck, and do a handful of these. Then we want to start to get some movement through our shoulders. So we're going to do some shoulder circles here. This can feel a bit weird if you haven't done it before, and is quite entertaining to watch for people who haven't done it, but give it a go and you'll get it. Then just some shoulder retractions here, and then hand behind the head, and we're going to open up and just do a handful of these movements each side, and then we'll go hand behind the back and also open. Now there's no static stretching in this really, but the good thing about this sort of warm-up is we can look at what we're kind of capable of as we do it, and if we find there's any muscle restriction, we can certainly then do something to target those muscles so we can access these movements a little bit better. Then we're going to look to sit on all fours, hand behind the back, twist, come forward, twist, come forward. Now all of these movements, I've tried to choose things that you'd feel relatively comfortable doing on the beach, I guess, despite the fact we like to pretend we don't care. I think a lot of the reasons people don't warm up on the beach is because they feel like they're going to get a bit ribbed about doing it. Okay, so then what we're going to do is legs wide, hands behind the back, fingers pointing away. I'm going to drop my knees. I'm going to let my hip keep going, keep my shoulder back. I'm going to get a nice stretch from my shoulder and my hip. Now it's particularly important to warm up this motion in your hips, especially if you want to be facing forward down the line, you know, but if you want to avoid kind of poo manning, and if you want to be able to really kind of, you know, engage a rail looking down the line, you need some good range of movement through your hip in this regard. Then we could come back to here, leg up, forward, and you could repeat that a few times. I think if you're someone who needs to really warm up for your pop-up, I'd move through this sort of thing a few times, or even back and forth here, if you find that the pop-up's a problem for you. Otherwise here, hips forward, legs straight, come back and forth. Just move through here, getting the hip and the hamstring. Getting a handful of these each side. Hand on the ground, open up, and again, moving through these both sides, obviously going into that pop-up type warm-up if you wanted to as well. Then legs wide. What we want to do here is drop the hips side to side. As you drop hips side to side, you should feel the adductors engage. What we're going to do is hand up, hand on the ground, reach up. Obviously making sure we're doing a few things that elicit rotation, but challenge rotation in different parts of our body. And then you could just be turning side to side here, turning, letting the hip come with you. As mentioned, this is the hip movement we do really need, don't we, in order to get this hip to, the front hip to internally rotate. So depending on what your stance is, you may spend a bit more time on the side that you want to work on in order to get your hips to face down the line in this fashion. And really, you could get that done in 5 minutes, you know, obviously adding stretches if things are limited range of motion for you. But that is something I think you could do on the beach, not feel like a dickhead. You'd be getting everything moving well and you'd be well prepped for yourself. If you've got any questions about it, please comment below, share if it helps you, subscribe, like all that stuff, and I'll see you next time.